Hello, Kang's treasure in my hand. It's so hot these days because it's the hot summer season. So today, I would like to show you the process of making a diorama of a family enjoying summer vacation at the beach. First, to create the main floor plate of the diorama, the ISO pink is cut, and then the cross-section is sloped. This is the process of applying a hand coat. This is a low-resolution file obtained for free online. This file has no thickness, so it cannot be printed with a printer. So, it is necessary to modify the thickness in a professional program to enable printing. The resolution is low and the surface condition is not good. It is necessary to increase the resolution by increasing the number of meshes and to refine the surface condition. Cleaning surfaces to improve print quality can be surprisingly time-consuming. After increasing the number of polygons through the remeshing process, surface refinement work begins. If you apply the smoothing function to a low-resolution file, it will lose its shape and end up looking completely different. Now I am carefully applying the smooth function for over half of the entire process. There is a clear difference between the right leg with the surface initially cleaned and the left leg with the smoothing function applied. Rough surfaces are becoming increasingly smooth. The shape of the hat is partially cut off, and I'm wondering how to restore it. It's embarrassing because the face is so distorted that its shape is unrecognizable. This person's hair is a mess, so let's fix it gently. Now we are going to work on separating the sand connected to the right foot from the body. This is the process of digging out the inner part attached to the pants to make the shape of the legs more realistic. Now it's time to shape the shape of the crushed bottom part of the pants. This is a process of adding weight to the gastrocnemius muscle of the leg because it has been shaped. It is a process of modifying each part of the body that touches the ground. This is a modified appearance. This bikini woman file is also low resolution, so we are remeshing it too. Increase the number of polygons and then editing it. From the current perspective, it looks angular due to the small number of polygons, but in fact, the number of polygons has increased. Therefore, even if you apply the smooth function, the shape changes smoothly without being deformed. The surface of the skin is becoming smoother. This is a modified appearance. This is the process of matching the body sizes, the lying man and woman. Since she is a woman, her body size was adjusted by making it narrower than a man's shoulder width. This is the process of loading and simulating files of Starbucks paper cups and whiskey bottles. The process of modeling men's beach sandals. This is the process of making another sandal for the right dragon by making it symmetrical. Another pair of women's slippers is made in the same way. Now it's time to inseminate the young couple's young daughter. This file is not a scan file, but a file created through modeling using a computer program. Because it is an artificially created modeling file, the connected and bent parts, such as arms, hands, legs, and feet look slightly awkward and unnatural. The child has chubby cheeks and looks very cute. This is the final simulation process of placing the girl's water play duct tube. This is the process of printing with a printer. This is the process of putting resin prints into a curing machine and hardening them. This is the process of removing supports from the printout. This is the process of making a pole that supports a parasol using bamboo skewers. It's a very important process of applying basic skin color paint to the resin output with an airbrush. Now is the most important step to begin the painting process in earnest. Previously, I used to paint with acrylic paint and water-based oil paint. That didn't smell at all, but since I made Ronaldo and Messi figures, I've been using enamel paint diluted with thinner. Acrylic paints and enamel paints each have pros and cons. acrylic paint not only has no odor at all, but also dries quickly once applied, speeding up the process. The downside is that it is very difficult to express gradation, even if the water concentration is well adjusted. However, enamel paint does not form a layer even when applied, making it easy to express gradation. The downside is that the drying time is very long and the thinner must be diluted with the paint before use, so the smell is very strong. Due to the smell of thinner, it is inconvenient to wear a mask while working, and ventilation must be provided. I don't think there's any special explanation for the subsequent painting process, and I think you'll be able to understand it just by watching the video. Unlike figures, which have only one object, diorama involves a lot of objects to make, so the video length is considerably longer. There are a lot of things to paint and the filming is huge, so the length of the video has been almost an hour. If I were to express the charm of a diorama in one word, I would say that it is the magic of shrinking a large world into one's hands, the new world I create. Diorama is recognized as an unfamiliar field that is not yet widely known except among enthusiasts. So, for those of you who are not yet familiar with it, I would like to talk very briefly about the concept. A diorama refers to a three-dimensional real or scale model that mainly reproduces historical events, natural scenery, cityscapes, etc., in small size. A model is simply a small-scale model of vehicles such as cars, airplanes, trains, and ships, buildings, and animals. Unlike a model, a diorama is a small scene that represents a specific situation with a story by placing models and creating a background. For example, scenes such as a snowy city, a forest camp, or a battle scene are recreated in realistic situations using backgrounds, lighting, and props. Dioramas have a strong storytelling element because they create a scene with a model in the background. Therefore, it is also described as art that reproduces a small world. The biggest feature of a diorama is its realistic reproduction ability. The model and background, carefully constructed in a small space, provide realism, giving you the experience of being in reality. Dioramas can maximize immersion by utilizing not only visual elements, but also various elements such as lighting, sound, and movement, adding completeness and emotion. The word diorama originates from an 1822 French photographic display device. In the 19th century, it meant a portable theater unit, but now it refers to three-dimensional full-scale and scale models. Afterwards, the types gradually became more diverse, including not only dolls, but also dinosaurs, tanks, cars, and airplanes. In Japan, the diorama displayed at the Tokyo Science Museum in 1932 is said to have been the first recorded exhibition diorama. Beginning in the 1970s, modern miniature dioramas were popularized by noted hobbyist Shepard Payne. The higher the quality of the diorama, including its composition and expressiveness, as well as the contrast and color of the painting, the more immersive it becomes. Because of this, people who see it become captivated by all of its elements in an instant. This is a process of applying several coats of paint until the desired color is achieved. This is the process of coloring in more detail by adjusting the density of black. process of painting the Airwear logo on the chest was long, so it was excluded from the video. Airwear. This is a picture of a drunk father sleeping, and he seems to be sleeping very deeply. I was worried at first because the face and hair were quite blurred in the original scanned file. But fortunately, it got better after I painted it. I think the closed eyes and beard are expressed well. The straw hat was modified by adding the cut parts during the modeling process. Feet that were buried in the sand have no toes because the sand has been removed. From now on, I will show you the process of painting a bikini woman. This is the process of weathering female skin. This time, instead of applying the paint effect, I apply it like makeup with a figure weathering master. Depending on the situation, I use paint and weathering master in parallel. I also have cheap Chinese weathering products, but I mainly use Tamiya products because of the low quality. Weathering work is complete. If you look at the human models shown on most diorama channels, they are not painted in detail because they are very small. In particular, hair is often simply painted in same tone. However, I try to express it in as much detail as possible, no matter how small it is. I try to express gradation and draw hair one by one. My style is to start with a light color and gradually move to a darker color. Since each person has their own style, the way they paint is different. I finished painting the hair. The hair expression isn't perfect, but I think it was painted pretty well. The process of painting eyebrows, eyes, and lips was not captured in the video. From now on, I will show you the process of painting a swimsuit. Acrylic paint cannot be modified because it is indelible once applied. So I concentrate all my attention and color it very carefully. Even the swimsuit has been painted. A smiling woman looks attractive. The back looks flawless at all. Next, I plan to paint the woman's nails white, but I will skip the coloring process. Observe how the shades change as the lighting changes. The girl-child's coloring process is the same as the father and mother's coloring process that was already done previously, so I will omit the explanation. This is the process of painting a duck tube for children to ride and play. Now it's time to draw the Starbucks symbol mark. It's very difficult because I have to draw it in a small size in the middle of a small paper cup. The size is too small to be drawn as intended. The name of the navigator in Herman Melville's novel Moby Dick is Starbuck. It is said that Starbucks was named after him. The woman in the green circle is a mermaid siren. The Starbucks logo has changed several times. Since the beginning, I've maintained the symbol and Starbucks logo. Afterwards, the Starbucks letters surrounding the siren were removed, and it has become a simple symbol with only the siren. I can't draw a picture of the siren because it's so small. It's a pity, but it ended like this. Label on whiskey bottle painted white. I don't like the color, so I fix it by painting it with gold over white. Spontaneous drawing of letters and symbols on the surface of the label. The bottle cap is also painted gold. I painted it with transparent resin to feel the texture of the glass bottle. Alternatively, you can finish it with super clear or glossy clear. I'm putting sand powder in a container to put on the circular floor. Measure the transparent resin in a 1:1 ratio. Mix the mixed resin solution with sand well. This is the process of covering sand mixed with resin on the base that was first applied and hardened with handy coat. I briefly mentioned the diorama concept at the beginning of the video, but let me explain it in more detail. If you are not interested, you can just focus on the production process video. Diorama types can be broadly divided into 8 categories. The first is the field of past dioramas. They are used in museums and historic sites to recreate historical events or moments and often educate visitors about the past. Second, the field of natural dioramas. They depict various habitats and ecosystems and are often used to teach about ecology, biology, and environmental science. Third, the military diorama field. Depicts battles, wars, or military operations, and is often used to educate people about military history and strategy. Fourth, the fantasy diorama field. Depicts an imaginary world or scenario, often used for artistic or entertainment purposes. Fifth, the field of architectural diorama. Depicts a building, city, or landscape and is often used by architects, urban planners, or designers to visualize their creations. Sixth, the field of commercial dioramas. They are used for advertising and marketing purposes and are often found at store displays or trade shows. Seventh is the scientific diorama field. They depict scientific concepts such as anatomy, astronomy, and physics, and are often used in educational settings. Eighth, the personal diorama field. This applies to my case. Their own original works are created based on creativity for hobbies or artistic expression. The subject matter is endless, from favorite books and movie scenes to cartoon characters such as Pokemon, airports, and trains. It can depict anything we can imagine, from personal memories to fantasy worlds. And the diorama would be complete without mentioning the military aspect. Military models are the field with the oldest tradition in model history. This is a field that many modelers put a lot of effort into, and there are a lot of realistic works that are combined with historical research. In the case of military dioramas, the better the damage or rust is expressed, the more realistic it becomes. There is probably no other genre that has as many enthusiasts around the world as the military genre. There are many model makers with a long history. They have many types of soldiers to make realistic reenactments of various battle scenes on land, sea, and air with the motif of World War. Armored vehicles, tanks, aircraft, battleships, and destroy buildings are made of resin kits and sold. Most use 1/35th scale, but smaller 1/48th and 1/72nd scales are also available. Airplane models are produced in scales such as 1/48th and 1/32nd, but helicopter models are also available in 1/35th scale. Generally, the process of making a diorama by an individual involves first purchasing a model kit from the manufacturer and painting the soldiers or tanks. After that, it is placed in an appropriate location and the surrounding terrain features, such as trees, bushes, and soil are created by the person himself and finally completed. Of course, trees, bushes, and bushes are also made into props and sold, so the process of painting the model can be considered the most important for workers. Due to the nature of the military genre, the majority of people are men, so it can be said to be a field so addictive that once you get hooked, it's impossible to get out of it. The fan base is quite thick, and there is considerable overlap between models and crafts. There is another main genre of diorama, and that is railroad diorama. There are many diorama artists who specialize only in the railroad field. I think it may be because it is a representative landscape diorama that requires careful attention to everything, including the background that blends well with the train. A well-made railroad diorama is truly beautiful. So far, I have given a brief explanation of the diorama to the best of my knowledge. I think you now have a good understanding of the diorama. If there is something you do not understand, or if you have any other questions for me, please leave a question in the comment section and I will answer to the best of my knowledge. Arrange the area around your feet so that they look naturally buried in the sand. The model is so small that the sand particles look like grains of rice. To set up the parasol, pierce the solid base with a pin vise. Now all the work is done. At the end of this video, in order to make the diorama look more realistic, videos of moving waves are placed in the background to increase the sense of immersion. I'll see you next time with a better work.